Friends, hello, welcome back. We have another banger of a suggestion that you guys have given us today. I like this. I hope we can turn this into a series. Pending your guys' approval. As always, gotta please you guys, gotta do what you guys want to see. You can give us suggestions for the future, but the idea being what we're gonna call Hindsight 2020. We're gonna select one team and we're gonna go back and look at the moves they made, including the draft. I think you wanted to see us go draftless. We're gonna add the draft for some spice there. We can go without the draft, let us know, but we're gonna add some draft choices in there as well, where we go back and say, what if we look back, and in today's case, the Buffalo Sabres, we look back and said, what if Buffalo did something different here? Or they didn't make this trade, or they didn't make that draft pick. That is the mantra of the series. Some teams, a lot of big moves that change their organization, some not as many. So, you know, again, you have to give some suggestions there for teams that might be, you know, 7, 8, 9 players. That was a big chain reaction effect. For the Buffalo Sabres, though, who we are doing today, we are going to start in the 2015 offseason when things started getting a little bit spicy. Robin Lehner and David Laguard were sent over to the Buffalo Sabres for a 2015 first-round pick. Lehner, who obviously we're seeing now, a pretty solid goalie, playing great of late, but he had, I guess you would say, little impact on the Buffalo Sabres considering their lack of success. I don't mean that in any way at all, you know, knocking Lehner, but when you trade away a first-round pick for a goalie, I think you want to be a playoff contender legitimately, and I don't think we've seen that out of Buffalo. You know, they obviously didn't make playoffs in that time. So if Buffalo keeps that pick, the pick that Ottawa had from Buffalo, that Ottawa used that pick on, just so happened to be a man by the name of Thomas Chabot. Could be on the Sabres right now. Again, hindsight. Would they choose that guy? Who knows? But that is, again, the theme of this series here, a bunch of hypotheticals. The draft luck, though, it would continue in 2016 as the Sabres would draft Alexander Nylander, who, granted, he's still young. You never know what happens. This guy can just pop off in the coming years. He hasn't been terrible, and regardless, would end up later traded by Buffalo, and I don't think he's had quite the success the man that went directly after Alexander Nylander has had in the NHL so far, that being defenseman Mikhail Sergachev. So for those keeping track, that's arguably a top-line D pair for the next decade the Buffalo Sabres could currently be sitting on. But if defense is something you look back and wish Buffalo had, oh man, none may shine quite like the clean trade of Ryan O'Reilly, one of the best defensive centers in the game today, in exchange for Vladimir Sobotka, Patrick Berglund, Tage Thompson, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. I still remember this trade to the day. I see so many Blues fans upset about it. I was like, man, you guys just stole this guy. You stole this guy, and I think they've learned that today. Ryan O'Reilly's a stud. He is a stud. The second-round draft pick remains unselected, but the 2019 first-round draft pick would end up being, as we know now, the last pick in the first round. So Ryan Johnson, we don't know what he's going to come out to be, but we do know 31st overall, not a good place to pick. You usually don't end up with elite players cleared down there, as opposed to having a guy like Ryan O'Reilly. So that is, oh my goodness, the disgustingness of this team. You're talking Ryan O'Reilly on his second line, and the defense of Thomas Chabot and Rasmus Dahlin on the first line, Ristolainen and Sergachev on his side. This team's dirty. This team is absolutely dirty. And again, we'll take your opinions on this one from you guys. There's so many little trickle down effects. How deep should we get into that? I personally, I don't know if you guys care or not, and that's the, you know, the reason why I ask now is, do you care as much about the, you know, the very small impact players, maybe the, you know, fourth line type of guys that get put in the trades? Do you guys want to see that implemented into this, or is it more of a let's look back at some of the major moves? And that's kind of what I like doing here. Personal preference, doesn't matter though. Whatever you guys want to see, we can do. I like seeing the major moves that could have impacted a team. Top 6, top 4 type of players, top starting goaltender, missed out draft, or, you know, draft busts per se. I kind of like looking down that route, and that is what we have with these Buffalo Sabres. The question is, can the addition of these players help this team win a Stanley Cup, or is it still not going to be enough? Right now, we're looking at Buffalo 15-15, 500 club. Even with these guys, the defense just improved drastically. There we go. Buffalo's starting to win some games now, 21-17, creeping into that wild card spot. So it's looking better. I was wondering if the goaltending with the low overall for the goalie would hurt this team at all. It still might be, but for now, Buffalo they're competing. Heading into February, they can still snip the playoffs. Buffalo fans like, yeah, been there, done that in the first half of the season. They're going to get it. I've been, for whatever reason, I've been pulling for Buffalo to just make the playoffs, get things turned around. I feel like every season they go in with, promise that it's going to be their year, and then they start good and then things fall apart or whatever it is. So for Buffalo's sake, I really hope they do start to turn it around. I want to see these guys make playoffs next season. Is that too much to ask for? Maybe not. We'll see. You never know with hockey. Short season, possibly next season. Nonetheless, Buffalo is not even going to make playoffs, even with 3 defensive studs added to the team here. We'll take a look at the lines. No, actually, we're just going to take a look at the stats. Just think of this. Jack Eichel, Rasmus Dahlin, Ryan O'Reilly. Oh, that'd be dirty. It would be dirty. So many young, talented players. Shabbat in there as well. This team would be filthy for a while if they could afford to keep them. That's always the question. Can they afford those contracts? 76 points, 67 out of Reinhart, 60 out of Reinhart, 67 out of O'Reilly, 57 out of Skinner, 53 out of Johansson. All right, Olofsson doing all right there. Sir Gergeson's Shabbat 40 points as well. From a plus-minus standpoint, plus 23 for Shabbat. That's what this man can do for the team, him and Dahlin. So it was nobody, really. This team did not make playoffs, and not a single player had a negative plus-minus. That's got to be like a record. It has to be. That doesn't even make logical sense. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. Just like trying to go to goalies and switching teams. So we'll go to the goaltending. Maybe that's where the problem was. 7-9 out of Hutton. 31-29 out of Omark. Yeah, Omark 9-10. Not terrible. He didn't sound that bad. 2.76. But the Buffalo Sabres still couldn't get the job done. I think we got to sim up the rest of the season just to see. I forgot we brought over the Selke potential winner there in Ryan O'Reilly. So this could be his season. He's been really good at that, taking home that Selke, especially in sims in this game. Florida gonna take home the Stanley Cup. We'll take a look at the awards though, see if Buffalo is trending in the right direction with the hardware here. Again, 76 points, 91 overall there, Eichel. The Art Roscoe and Phil Kessel. All right, interesting season. Got to Memorial as well. James Norris, John Carlson. So we didn't bring home any defensive trophy. Despite having a good season, we didn't really see anybody with them point per game type seasons there, or close to 40 points is the best, I think. Calder Memorial going to Kako. Huberto getting to Smite. The Vezina, Vasi. Jennings, same story. The Kaiser, the Masterton. There it is. Ryan O'Reilly, the Selke winner for the Buffalo Sabres. Ryan O'Reilly. That's going to conclude this video, though, guys. If you want to see more like this one, a big thumbs up. Subscribe. Always appreciated and required. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.